NASA is looking for 4 people willing to spend a year in 2 confined habitats simulating a Moon and Mars mission. No fresh food, no sunlight, no outside contact, and it's starting next August. The most searched word definition in America in 2026 so far is gaslighting, edging out love. And a comprehensive review drawing on data from billions of real-world doses confirms mRNA vaccines are safe, effective, and don't alter human DNA. Imagine that. While everyone was busy arguing about politics, a bunch of other things happened. I'm Keith Conrad, and this is News Side Quest. Welcome to a new week. NASA is recruiting research participants for its next simulated deep space mission, beginning no earlier than August of 2027. Research volunteers will spend 1 year living and working in interplanetary environments at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, operating under isolated conditions expected during crewed missions to the Moon or Mars. The mission is called the Moon and Mars Exploration Analog. 4 people will be selected. They'll rotate between 2 confined habitats, one simulating a deep space transit spacecraft, one simulating a planetary surface base. They'll conduct mock Mars walks, use a rover to reach exploration sites, grow their own crops, maintain their health, and operate under strict resource constraints for an entire year. To qualify, you need to be a U.S. citizen or green card holder, between 30 and 55 years old, no more than 74 inches tall, proficient in English, and hold at least a bachelor's degree in engineering, biological science, physical science, or mathematics. You also can't have a history of sleepwalking, which is an interesting one. It's a very specific requirement that I assume has a very specific reason behind it. A previous participant who completed a similar year-long mission described what he missed most: birthdays, holidays, graduations, funerals, and weddings, the big events. The NASA food was good, according to him, but the menu was limited and nothing was fresh except a few vegetables they grew themselves. There was no sunshine, no wind. He developed a new appreciation for those things after the mission ended. We mentioned that mission crew hitting 200 days back in May. The 4 people currently at the Johnson Space Center who are 178 days into their own stint. We covered the CHAPA Mission 2 crew hitting 200 days back in May. The 4 people currently at Johnson Space Center who are 178 days into their own stint. This new mission would be a little different, with a new crew starting fresh, but with an evolved protocol combining both transit and surface simulation that the CHAPA missions hadn't combined before. So who has a little extra time on their hands and wants to use it for science? Of course, the people who apply for these missions genuinely aren't doing it casually. The CHAPA crew described it as one of the most meaningful things they've ever done, for reasons that connect directly to the larger mission of eventually getting humans to Mars. If you were cut off from the world for a full year, what would you miss the most? And would you secretly be relieved to take a break from?
Talk about the wrong stuff.
A word analysis from Word Unscrambler using Google Trends data from January 1st through July 7th of this year looked at what definitions Americans were searching for the most, and the results are worth taking a look at because they say something specific about the moment we currently find ourselves in. Gaslighting topped the list nationally with an estimated 286,000 monthly searches, followed by love at 274,000, fascism at 264,000, empathy at 265,000, and integrity at 262,000. The top 25 also included narcissist, democracy, propaganda, bias, and anxiety. A spokesperson for Word Unscrambler noted that the findings suggest Americans are searching definitions for abstract concepts rather than objects, and that the most common themes are emotions, society, and education. People are searching for definitions to better understand personal experiences and public conversations. I hope most of the 286,000 monthly searches for gaslighting are for people trying to figure out if it's happening to them rather than people trying to do it better. The word itself is worth defining clearly for anyone who might be in the dark on that one. Gaslighting, as Merriam-Webster defines it, is the psychological manipulation of a person, usually over an extended period of time, that causes the victim to question the validity of their own thoughts, perception of reality, or memories, typically leading to confusion, loss of confidence, and uncertainty. The term actually comes from the 1938 play Gaslight, in which a husband slowly dims the gas lights in his home while denying to his wife that anything has changed, causing her to doubt her perception of what's actually real. The word's presence at the top of that list, above love, fascism, democracy, tells you something about where people feel friction most acutely in 2026. Not in civic institutions, in their closest relationships. The most searched abstract concept isn't about how the country works, it's about whether they can trust what they're experiencing in their own lives. The full list is also worth reading as kind of a diagnostic of things: gaslighting, love, democracy, fascism, empathy, integrity, narcissist, propaganda. Those words together describe a society trying to find language for things it's experiencing but struggling to put a name on. People don't look up definitions of things they already understand. So has a relationship ever made you genuinely question your own perception of reality? And if so, what helped you find your footing again?
You've gone from crazy like a fox to crazy like Fox News.
A comprehensive review published this month in Lancet, one of the world's oldest and most respected medical journals, confirmed that mRNA vaccines are a safe and highly effective feat of modern medicine. It was conducted by an international team of researchers based in Canada, Hong Kong, the United Kingdom, and the United States, and took manufacturing data, clinical trials, and data from billions of real-world vaccinations into account. The study also dispels the notion that mRNA vaccines alter human DNA. Instead, as intended, mRNA vaccines provide human cells with what's basically a limited set of instructions that allow them to momentarily and safely replicate a given virus or disease, allowing the body to develop an immune response. The review also showed that the mRNA shots are safe for sensitive groups like children, pregnant women, and that booster shots are helpful for extending a shot's efficacy. Serious adverse events were rare and substantially outweighed by protection against severe disease, hospitalization, and death. One of the authors of the study said that after 1 billion doses, we now have an extraordinary amount of scientific evidence. This review affirms that mRNA vaccines are a safe and highly effective platform supported by rigorous testing and real-world monitoring. Resoundingly safe and effective. Imagine that. The mRNA vaccine platform was developed over decades of foundational research, but rushed into emergency development during a genuine global pandemic, administered to billions of people in the fastest mass vaccination campaign in human history, and has since been subjected to more real-world safety monitoring than almost any medical intervention ever attempted. The result of all that data, billions of doses, multiple countries, multiple independent research teams, is consistently the same finding. It works, and serious side effects are rare. The context in which this review is published does matter. The current political environment has been, to put it gently, unkind to vaccine science. Misinformation about mRNA vaccines altering DNA, causing long-term harm, or being unsafe for children has circulated widely, and some of it has come from official sources. The Lancet review is not new science, it's a synthesis of what was already known. That's worth noting specifically because the noise around the underlying facts has just gotten louder over time. So has scientific evidence ever actually changed a strongly held belief of yours? And what made it land when the others didn't?
Doctor? 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 Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor?
Doctor? Doctor? Doctor? Doctor? Doctor? Doctor. 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 Doctor.
Doctor.
Doctor.
Doctor.
Doctor. Doctor. Doctor. Doctor. And doctor. Well, we miss anyone?
A man was partially sucked out of a small aircraft through a door that opened mid-flight and dangled outside by a seatbelt before being pulled back in. He survived. So when airlines tell you to keep your seatbelt fastened while you're seated, they're not kidding. Also, the seatbelt manufacturer has a marketing opportunity that may never come again.
What kind of plane is it?
Oh, it's a big, pretty white plane with red stripes and curtains in the window and wheels, and it looks like a big Tylenol.
A Circle K store clerk is maintaining that he did nothing wrong by cashing in a $12.8 million lottery ticket. See, he had accidentally printed an extra ticket during a customer transaction. Store policy required him to pay for accidental prints, which he did, and then it won. His argument that the ticket was therefore legitimately his has more legal grounding than the headline might suggest. I'm not sure what case Circle K thinks they have here.
Money, money, money!
A 75-year-old man was accused of pepper spraying a family after they declined to pet his dog. Demanding someone pet your dog under threat of pepper spray represents a significant escalation of normal dog owner behavior.
Who saw Old Yeller? Who cried when Old Yeller got shot at the end? Nobody cried when Old Yeller got shot, I'm sure. I cried my eyes out.
Humanoid robots at USC San Diego completed the first ever autonomous gallbladder surgeries, with no human hands involved in the procedure itself. This is a very cool milestone, and I'm broadly in favor of what it represents, but much like drones, I think I'd want a human in the loop before any robot comes near me with a scalpel.
Your confusion is not rational.
That's it for new side quests, 3 questions to open your week. What you'd miss most and what you'd be glad to escape for a year of total isolation. Whether a relationship has ever made you question your own perception of reality and what helped you find your footing again. And whether scientific evidence has ever actually changed a strongly held belief of yours and what made you reconsider things. Shoot me an email at newsidequest@gmail.com or visit the Substack comments. See you tomorrow.